Well, tomorrow is a huge day for the Dupont de Nemours and Company, better known to you and I as just Dupont. It's a showdown of shareholders, and it's a vote to decide whether or not billionaire Nelson Peltz will get 4 boards on the seat, or seat on the board, he said. Let's bring in Bill George, professor of management practice at Harvard Business School, former CEO of Medtronic, and a CNBC contributor. And back with us is Lamonis Marcus, if I'm going to flip everything backwards, host of The Profit. Season 3 kicks off tonight at 10 o'clock Eastern Time and Pacific. This is, Marcus, a huge battle because this is not some little company. This is a 200-year-old Dow component with tens of billions in revenue. How do you see this thing shaking out?
You know, I'm getting a little tired of these activist investors. You want to invest?
So-called, as I call them.
Well, you call them so-called. I call them that. It's a nice way of dressing up bullies.
Sure.
Bullies in the boardroom.
Oh, we're not calling them bullies.
I will.
Yeah, but you can't lump them all together.
I can lump a lot of them. Look, what I'm looking for investors to do is add value and provide resources and provide mentorship, not get in there and tell everybody how stupid they are. And I got to tell you, it's a problem. It's a problem. It's going to be a problem in this one.
You know, Bill, I'm sure you agree with this. Obviously, as a former CEO, you don't want some big stick-waving hedge fund manager or so-called activist coming in, but I guess I'll have to now defend them. Studies do show they can return above market averages over time. That maybe they're a good thing for investors.
Well, I think in this case, Marcus got it right. Here we have a shareholder holding less than 3% of the company's shares trying to take over a 212-year-old company that's been performing very well, way ahead of the averages. And if he'd come back in 2007 or 8, I'd say he had every right to shake the company up. But instead, Ellen Comey becomes CEO. She did everything an activist would do. She spun off Performance Coatings. She spun off her commodity chemicals, creating a new company. And she's focused on high-growth, high-margin businesses. She has a clear strategy, and frankly, this is one of the best boards in America. It would be a tragedy to knock off 3 or 4 of these people. And I can say beyond that, if Nelson Peltz, who has said he would break up the company in 3 pieces and shut down central R&D, that would be a great loss to the United States because their central labs are.
Bill, I think it's obvious that we want, as shareholders of any company, to have a board that pushes our management, that challenges us, that pushes us against the wall, but does it in a very educated way instead of just telling people you're going to dismantle things. And to say that you're going to eliminate research and development in a company that's based on research and development seems a little odd to me.
You know, but okay, I guess now I'm stuck in the uncomfortable role of defending the activist because, as I've said to our viewers many times in this program, I don't want to call them activist investors because I don't know who they're being activists for. I don't know their motives other than to profit for themselves and their own clients. Maybe the stock goes up. I don't know. But I guess I'm stuck in this role now to defend them, Marcus. Is there a situation in all your turnaround stories where you could have said, you know what? This could have been an environment where these guys could have come in. This would have been a perfect environment.
Sure. Absolutely. Yeah. When you go in, go ahead, Bill.
I'll give you some. I mean, there are companies where they've come into Home Depot and got it turned around, putting Frank Blake in, getting rid of Nardelli. I think the work that Value Act did at Microsoft did a very good job. Ralph Whitworth done a good job at HP. Bill Ackman up at Canada Pacific, but not a top-performing company that's doing everything right, that's increased its earnings for the new businesses, or the current business going forward, 19% earnings and a 266% return to shareholders in the last 6 years since Coleman takeover. This would be a tragedy to break this thing up. And I think if Peltz gets on, it will do a great deal of harm. It would be very disruptive because she has built a first-class board. Look at Ed Breen, the great job he did at Tyco. We just added in January.
And Bill,
Jim Galogi.
I think in addition to that, to talk about somebody doing that with 3% of the company, if they own 65% of the company, obviously they have a right to call the shots.
Right.
But with 3% of the company, it seems very disruptive to a management team that really has their act together, to a staff that has their act together.
All right, guys.
I have studied.
Go ahead, Bill. Last word, please.
I have studied this board. This is one of the best boards in America. The boards I'm on, I'm proud to be on. This is one of the best boards in America. A group of high-tech people, 9 CEOs on the board. Lois Juliper was on the Mondelez board and said, you know, I don't want Peltz coming in here, even though she's on the board. And, you know, he took a shot at both Breen and Gallagher, and neither one of them said, they both said no to him and came on the board. So I think the shareholders really need to support management when they're doing it right. If they're doing it wrong, turn them out.
We got to leave it there, Bill. Maybe the shareholders will win either way because you got the activists on one side, or so-called activists, and you got the board making changes on the other side. Maybe the shareholders might win either way. Bill George, thank you very much. Great discussion, Marcus. Please stick around. All right.